around 200 children in the age group 10 to 15. Most of the children very spontaneously moved into higher states of consciousness without anything being done. They were seeing their past lives. They had out-of-the-body experiences. They used to fly home and see what their parents were doing. They used to talk to trees, and strange phenomena like the clouds following the children, children talking to God, the gods that were worshipped in their homes. So all kinds of things very naturally happened, and they also became very naturally healers. Nobody taught them anything. They could heal themselves, heal others. So many such things very spontaneously happened. This phenomenon later grew into what we now call the Oneness Diksha or Oneness Blessing, as it is known in many countries of the world. So what is this Diksha? The Diksha is essentially a transfer of divine energies, which in turn awakens the Kundalini, and the Kundalini in turn, excuse me, is it okay? And the Kundalini in turn brings about changes in the brain, as a consequence of which there occurs God realization or awakening, or sometimes both. Now, along with the rise of the phenomenon, also several revelations were received. These revelations gave a roadmap as to what was going to happen to the phenomenon as well as to the world. We have been strictly following and going according to these revelations, and more or less it has happened according to the revelations. The revelations spoke of 13 steps to a great shift in human consciousness. So we are through 11 steps. 11 steps have been covered. The 12th one commenced on November the 3rd and is likely to end on February the 10th. The 13th and the last and final step until 2012 would be commencing on February the 11th. Now, what are these revelations? Let's have a look into them. The phenomenon began in 89. That was a year when many things happened. The fall of the Berlin Wall, the fall of communism, strange events in China, and many parts of the world, whose effects are still being felt by the world at large. The revelations were that 1989 was the year when the new age was conceived in the womb. And it said 13 steps later, the child would be delivered sometime between October 28th and December 21st, 2012. So it's about 23 years in the womb, and the delivery time is almost from October 2011 to December 2012. Now, what happens when this child is delivered? According to the revelation, a large number of people would be awakened by the end of 2012. How large? The revelation says anything between 60,000 and 70,000 people would be awakened across the planet. What happens next? Now, in 2012, the new age has taken birth. It's a small child. And then it begins to grow. And by 2035, this child is able to walk and talk. According to the revelation, there will be great inner transformation from the time of delivery of the child, that is in 2012, to 2035. There will be a great awakening happening in human consciousness. A lot of inner transformation will be happening. This period we normally call it as Satyuga, or the birth of Satyuga. From 2035 onwards begins the golden age. What happens is, this inner transformation then brings about changes in the external world. For example, by 2035, there will be no poverty on the planet. Wars and conflicts could have ceased. The environment will be very, very clean. People may be filled with unconditional love and unconditional joy. There would be tremendous transformation in all aspects of human life. There will be changes in the way people are governed, in the way they're educated, in the way they work. That every field of human activity would be touched, would be transformed. So from 2035 begins the golden age. And then goes on to reveal what happens in the next 1,000 years. A few centuries later, by 2035, most of humanity is awakened and the golden age commences. A few centuries later, we find that the human body is restructured. Right now, the body is about 8 times the length of our head. But that would become 9 times. That's the first change we notice. All these come as revelations in clear pictures. One can see it as though one were there. And even now it could be seen. When you go through a very advanced process, you can see all this is all that I'm speaking about. These are based on real experiences which anybody could have. And then a few centuries later, we notice that we do not have anymore this distinction of male or female. It looks as though man has become bisexual, both male and female. Then a few centuries later, what we notice is, we see no buildings, no factories, nothing in fact. We see the whole earth is a beautiful garden, very, very clean. It's more like heaven on earth. People are there, but they do not seem to be working or consuming food the way we do. It looks like they are absorbing from nature all that they want. Hence, there's no need to work or to have any organized structures in human society. When they do want to travel, they hang their bodies on branches of trees and they move out in their consciousness, go wherever they want, and again materialize and talk to people or do whatever they want, and again return. Very much like what Amma Bhagwan do very often. They seem to be doing similar things. Now that's about 1,000 years from now. So there is a tremendous acceleration of growth starting with 2012. It grows exponentially in terms of consciousness as also in terms of technology. Amazing technology would be in place. Most of today's technologies would be dead and gone, and new technologies would take their place. Amazing technologies which would also help man rapidly grow in his consciousness. They would not be opposed to each other. In fact, they might become complementary to one another. So that's how the revelations came through. Very clear pictures of what's going to happen. And now, for example, it said there would be a shift in consciousness on November the 3rd. It exactly happened like that. Now, what happens when this shift in consciousness occurs? there is either awakening or God realization or both. Now, what do we mean by awakening? To put it simply, you are gone. There's nobody inside. There's no controller. You are gone. What is there is simply pure existence, consciousness, bliss. And all things happen automatically. You actually see that your thoughts are not your thoughts. They come inside you and they go out. You could see it exactly that way. You also realize that your mind is not your mind. The mind stands out and keeps functioning. You are emptied of your mind. You become a witness to your own mind. And later on you find even the mind empties itself of its contents, like jealousy, anger, hatred, violence, conflict. Even they are emptied from the mind. That happens a little later. But first, you see that your mind is standing out there. It's working on its own. You're a witness to it. You also realize that your body is not your body. You can go outside your body and witness your body. You could be inside your body and see that your hand is not your hand, your leg is not your leg, but it is functioning very, very beautifully. You see an object and you realize that you are that object. The observer is the observed. There is no distinction between the observer and the observed. There is a oneness. So these things happen very naturally. Now, if you try to do these things, nothing would happen. We do give teachings in order to prepare people for this awakening, but they are not to be put into practice. There are teachings which should be put into practice. There are teachings which should not be put into practice. Then why do we give these teachings? We give them because when the awakening does happen, initially you're not able to make any sense of that. And sometimes you do become confused. In order to cope with the awakening, we give you these teachings. They are not to be applied, they are not to be practiced. For example, we would tell you, the awakened one, his mind is empty. Now you cannot try to make your mind empty. If you do try to empty yourself, you will become full. So these teachings are merely tools to help you cope with the awakening. Then what happens? You suddenly discover there is unconditional love. There is unconditional joy. You no more move to the past. You no more move to the future. You are in the present. Not because you're trying to do something. It is just happening all the time. And suddenly you find that the world is changed. Nothing has happened to the world. You have changed. And the world looks very, very different. Where hitherto life had no meaning, no purpose, we're searching for a vision, we're searching for a purpose. Now, you are living now. A living being would not ask, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? Because he's living. This very naturally and spontaneously happens when the awakening does occur. And it has occurred to thousands of people. According to the revelation, these awakenings started happening from 1989 itself, and the revelations spoke of the numbers progressively growing till from February 11th onwards, it's an explosion to reach the number 60,000 or 70,000. It's not very specific about that. And these awakened people would in turn awaken the rest of humanity, either by directly helping people or their mere presence would also awaken others, even without connecting to them directly. Assume there are 70,000 awakened people, the power generated would be equal to 70,000 into 70,000. That's a huge number, that is. That force would push the rest of humanity gradually into higher states of consciousness, till finally by 2035 most people are awakened. What we would witness in 2012 is there will be thousands of people who would be awakened. Thousands of them would be awakened. Thousands would be in higher states of consciousness, and thousands would experience a shift in their perception, and thousands would say nothing has happened to us. That would be the situation towards the end of 2012. Of course, things start moving very fast after that. By end of 2013 it is very different. By 2014 still different, and it accelerates. It's exponential thereafter. And then there are people who also become God realized. Now whatever God you're worshipping, that God is no more a matter of belief or faith. It is reality. Let us say your Ishtadevata is Rama or Krishna. You would not only be able to see Rama or Krishna inside or outside, you could talk to them. You could walk and talk with your God. If you happen to be a Christian, you would walk and talk with Christ. So God becomes a reality in your life. So for those who are more inclined towards God realization, that would happen. For those who are more inclined towards awakening, that would happen. And those inclined towards both would happen. You would discover your God in your life. You would walk and talk with God. You would no more be the orphan you are. Thus, with that kind of communion with God, you can get whatever you want. From the most mundane things to the most advanced spiritual states, your God would give it to you. That is God realization. So, now let us see what are the consequences of either awakening or God realization. Awakening or God realization, the individual becomes completely transformed. There is no more conflict in him. There is causeless love. There is causeless joy. He no more feels separate from the other. So at the individual level, he has no more problems. He's just a happy human being. When that happens, it affects the whole of his family. This has been already happening. I'm talking to you about what already has happened in the homes of awakened people. The family gets transformed. And once the family gets transformed, we have noticed, people who come in touch with these families, they are getting transformed. In other words, it moves into society very naturally, very automatically. And from there it moves on to any other part of the country. So we can clearly see here, individual transformation would bring about a global transformation. When we say this, we do not mean the world is going to change. What we are saying is, people are going to change as individuals inwardly. When that happens, the way you perceive the world completely changes. Let's take the example of a husband and wife who are quarreling or who are fighting. Now suddenly when a shift occurs, what happens is, he develops a completely new perception about his wife, and the wife about the husband, and instantly the conflict ceases. And this tremendous love between them. It does not take time. It's almost instantaneous when the shift occurs. So the whole atmosphere of the family changes. It affects the children. It affects their near ones, near and dear ones. It affects their surrounding. That is how things will start happening in the world. We begin to perceive the world differently. We no more see ourselves as Hindus, Muslims, Christians or Buddhists, Indians, Pakistanis, Chinese, Americans. No. We can't see it that way. All conditioning is declutched. We are functioning from a different level of consciousness. So, that fundamental division of the me and the you, that's gone. With that division gone, all conflict is gone. Because essentially all problems, be it the individual level, the level of the family, society, nation or the world, or economic problems or political problems or social problems, ultimately all problems could be traced back to the sense of separation in the individual. Now once this goes, there's complete oneness. With oneness there, how could there be conflict? That is the change we are talking about. The change that we are talking about is this inner transformation. Yes, excuse me. I hope you're able to hear me clearly. So the consequences of God realization and awakening is there would be a global transformation which could pave the way to gradually remove all human problems. Because all problems emanate from the single basic fundamental division of the you and the me. Once that is gone, all problems would naturally dissolve. So through individual transformation, there could occur global transformation. Now, let's see what the Revelation spoke about the 13th phase. The Revelations say that starting February 11th, awakening would happen very, very fast. And it would spread like wildfire. So all that is required is passionate seekers who are concerned about the state of the world today, who are concerned about man's condition, who are concerned about the earth's condition, who are concerned about the suffering of all other species. If that passion were there in you, these are the people who would quickly become awakened. The purpose of this webcast is to reach out to such people who are passionate about individual transformation and global transformation, who are concerned about the issues confronting man today. These people would be able to transform themselves very, very fast. After they are transformed, they would have the power to transform others. And not only that, their mere presence, their raised levels of consciousness would help others also to very naturally raise their levels of consciousness. So these numbers are supposed to be around 70,000 people, anywhere between 60 and 70,000 people, who would then bring about this global transformation starting with 2013. These 70,000 people would arrive by the end of December 2012, and then they work for the others, and they keep working thereafter. So now, what you have got to do is, we will have this webcast every Saturday, Indian time, 10 in the night, 10 p.m., and Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. You could join this webcast and meditate with us. You may have to create a dark room in your house, which we call the sacred space. After this meditation, we should move into the dark space, or what we call the sacred space, and start meditating on the teaching we would have given for that week. So that is the way you have got to prepare yourself. And in February, we would give you the process. This process you could apply in your own homes. And in your very homes, you could become awakened. So that's what the 13th step talks about. And there are several models in different faiths of the world which would also help us understand this phenomenon. For example, in Buddhism, Padmasambhava, who took Buddhism from India into Tibet, he said, when the iron birds fly in the air and when pink-faced people come, the world would become awakened. Now, iron birds do fly in the air. We have our modern aeroplanes flying in the air. And if you come into our campuses, you'll find a lot of pink-faced people, a lot of Westerners there, very passionately seeking awakening and God realization. So the time has arrived. And he says in less than 3 minutes, people would become awakened. But every day people are becoming awakened. Of course, for February, it's going to be much, much faster and much, much more powerful. And we do notice that the shift is happening in less than 3 minutes. If we have a clock and we closely watch the person shifting, it happens in less than 3 minutes. We see that there. And in Hinduism, they speak of Kalki and an army of 64,000 people. It's somewhere between 60 and 70. They speak of 64,000 people. Now, what does the horse represent? It represents, Kalki is supposed to go on horseback with a sword. And according to the revelation, the horse represents speed. And the sword represents Diksha. And who is being slain? The sense of self, the sense of individual separateness, the sense of me. That is what is being slain. So, we have very beautiful parallels. Now, if you were to look at Christianity, if you listen to Christ's words, Christ says, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And the Revelation says, the kingdom of heaven is from 2012. The similarity is there. And then Christ says, I shall baptize you with fire. And here we find Kundalini is being awakened, and Kundalini is fire. And then Christ says, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And what is this awakening of God realization? It's something which happens inside you. And then Christ says, break, and the kingdom of heaven shall be yours. If you look at our teachings, you would notice that we are continuously breaking you inside. When the breaking occurs, then the Diksha becomes very powerful, and the Kundalini awakens in a big way. So you have these similarities. And from many other faiths, we could go on drawing similarities. There are lots of similarities are there. So it looks like the time has arrived for this global transformation and possibly an end to human problems. So we would like to invite all those people who are serious about this kind of transformation to join us in this weekly webcast and participate in these meditations and get ready from February onwards to work on themselves in their very homes and to get awakened or God realized or both. It all depends on you. So let us all join together and let's together work for this global transformation. Namaste.